never counts the cost of all its rays. None is ever lost. Its glow falls in shadows and light, with no regard for what's wrong and right, illuminating the nights of our despair, inviting us into its circle of care. May kindness, like the sun, radiate for all to see, and be kinder than necessary to everyone. Be a sanctuary. Everyone is battling their darkness. Let the light of compassion disarm us. Here we can rest in its open seclusion, where all of creation breaks from illusion. Here a kind word can lighten our load. A warm touch feels like love bestowed. Here we drop our heavy shield, and our true purpose is revealed. To be kinder than necessary to everyone, be a sanctuary. Everyone is battling their darkness. Let the light of compassion disarm us. No act of kindness is ever wasted. It's the only way true love is ever tasted. Here at the tip of our tongue is love's song ready to be sung. If your kindness is ever refused, don't let your ego be bruised. Open up your heart and let it flow. Let kindness set the world aglow, and be kinder than necessary to everyone. Be a sanctuary. If your kindness is ever refused, don't let your ego be bruised. Open up your heart and let it flow. Let kindness set the world aglow, and be kinder than necessary to everyone. Be a sanctuary. The sun shines and never counts the cost of all its rays. None is ever lost. Its glow falls in shadows and light, with no regard for what's wrong and right, illuminating the nights of our despair, inviting us into its circle of care. May kindness, like the sun, radiate for all to see, and be kinder than necessary. To everyone, be a sanctuary. Everyone is battling their darkness. Let the light of compassion disarm us. Here we can rest in its open seclusion, where all of creation breaks from illusion. Here a kind word can lighten our load. A warm touch feels like love bestowed.
Nice to see everyone this morning. We invite you to take your seats and prepare for this morning's service. On behalf of the worship committee, welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Columbia. I'm Linda Brennison, and our minister is Reverend Stephen Robinson. Stay connected with our community. Keep an eye on the following communications. Our recurring events are included in the calendar with your order of service. That's an insert. But special events are also coming up. We provide an emailed newsletter every Thursday and keep you informed about everything that's coming up. And so make sure we have your email address. That we will make sure that you get the weekly notice of events if you give us your email address. Also, we have a Facebook page, an Instagram account, and a website. Our website is being updated, and we're working on it ongoing. It's live, and it has a new look. You might want to check that out. We warmly welcome families with children and offer child care during our service for infants and children up to 4 years old. We have a designated seating area. It's right over there for children ages 4 to 7 and their parent or caregiver. Feel free to bring toys available in the back of the social hall for quiet play. Today, children will remain in the service with their parents or caregivers. Please silence all devices as we center ourselves on today's service and listen to the prelude.
Our prelude this morning is from The Seasons by Tchaikovsky, and this is the piece he wrote for August called Harvest.
Wow, that was exceptional. Thank you so much, Anna. Oh, wow. Okay, let's go on with our service for the day. Today's flowers are donated by our wonderful volunteers. You may not be aware, but we have a group of folks who have volunteered to bring flowers every Sunday, and we so appreciate that. So now, would you please rise in body or spirit and join me in the congregational covenant in your order of service. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, seek knowledge and freedom, and serve others in community. Thus do we covenant with one another. Please be seated. Unitarian Universalism is a diverse and non-creedal religion. Our community is founded on deeds, not creeds. We are a covenantal religion, meaning we don't have to believe the same to treat each other the same. With respect, equity, compassion, and dignity, we place love at the center of our values, embracing and welcoming all people. We are delighted to welcome all our guests and visitors today, and today Ryan Kern has agreed to carry the microphone for us. Thank you, Ryan. I started to say thank you, microphone. That was not good. Okay. Visitors, please wait for the microphone and Ryan before speaking. Share your name and where you're from, and when it's your turn, if you have a guest, feel free to introduce them as well. Have any willing visitors today? Okay, I think we may have some, but maybe next time they'll be willing to introduce themselves. Any time is fine. So visitors, if you'd like to learn more about UUCC, visitor cards are in the pocket on the back of each chair. Please fill one out if you like, and place it in the collection plate so we can email you about our events. That's the only reason for that. Our board members and committee chairs welcome your questions and your comments. Believe it or not, they do. Board members wear green name tags. That's how you can recognize them. If you have a special need to speak with a board member, just look for the green name tag. And thanks everybody for being here today. Now it's time for our chalice lighting. David Roof is going to be our chalice lighter today. David first came to UUCC before some of you were born in 1995, and he joined here in 1999. He enjoys participating in all music programs and the tech committee, which he has chaired, and he would love to have more members for the tech committee. So please see David or Bill Martin if you have that skill set and that interest. Spirit of light and life, come unto us.
Our opening hymn is number 112, Do You Hear? Please rise in body or spirit to join in singing.
Be seated. Our opening words today going to be a little difficult to read without singing, and so I just trust that you have the tune in your head as I read these lyrics from Paul Simon that also serve as our title for a sermon today. So I'm going to do my best to not sing it. No one signed up to hear that. Paul Simon writes, "Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk to you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams, I walked along narrow streets of cobblestone. 'Neath the halo of a street lamp, I turned my collar to the cold and damp, when my eyes were stabbed with a flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence. And in the naked light, I saw 10,000 people, maybe more, people talking without speaking, people hearing without listening, and people writing songs that voices never shared, and no one dared disturb the sound of silence. Fools, said I, you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words that I might teach you. Take my arms that I might reach you. But my words like silent raindrops fell and echoed in the wells of silence. And the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made. And the sign flashed out its warning in the words that it was forming. And the sign said, the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls and whispered in the sound of silence. Invite our children and youth to come forward for a story for all ages. Good morning. How are you all today? Good. I want to introduce you to a friend that I met through a book, and his name is Gio. See Gio? And this is a good little book that parents can really relate to because Gio is getting ready to go to the park, and I think the kids, little ones might be coming, so we'll say this before they get here because we don't want to feel like we're talking about them, right? Gio's getting ready to go to the park, and his mom knows it's cold at the park, but he doesn't want to wear warm clothes, so they get in a bit of an argument about that. Has that ever happened to you all? Yeah, where you think you know what you need to be doing, but, oh, here they come. All right, let's pretend like we weren't talking about them, because they're always so well behaved. Here they come. Good morning. We hadn't said anything yet. Come on over here on the other side. All right, now we have a full group. We're going to read a book about a friend named Geo. Everybody see? Geo? So this book says, and it's Geo talking, I'm getting dressed all on my own today. First, I put on my favorite stripy shorts, then my T-Rex t-shirt, and then I put on my shades, which is what my Uncle Dwayne calls sunglasses, and my flip-flops. I look pretty sharp. I'm going to the park today to play with my friends, and I've been waiting all week. All right. Seems everything's going well so far, right? So here comes Geo. Look, he's ready to go. Everybody see? And he says, let's go, I say to Mama. And she smiles. Geo, it's pretty cold outside. I think you need some warmer clothes. He says, I got all dressed. I see that. And you did a marvelous job. The thing is, the weather today is blustery. Does anybody know what blustery means? That's right, it's cold. Does Geo look like he's dressed for the cold? No. The weather today is blustery, which means it's cold and windy, his mom says. So Geo says, my tummy starts feeling twisty, and I squeeze my elbows with my fingers, and I feel tears, because I was all dressed. What would you say Geo is feeling right now? Sad.
And mad at the same time.
Sad and mad at this. You can do that?
Kind of.
Wow. Sad and mad at the same time. Frustrated.
And also you got dressed on your own and you don't want to take you.
That's exactly right. So his mom says, honey, I just want you to be comfortable so we don't have to go home early when you get cold. I won't get cold, he says. And then he says, my voice gets loud and then quiet again, like I can't decide how I'm feeling, how I'm going to be. So mom comes over and rubs his back, and she says, you look like you're feeling really frustrated, she says. I understand that. I would feel frustrated too. I do think we can solve this problem and still go to the park if you're willing to make a couple of new choices about your outfit. And then Mama says, I have a much easier time solving problems when I feel calm. Would you like me to help you feel calm? I always start with my breathing. So let's try that. Take a deep breath. Do you feel calmer already?
Yes,
All right. Mama and I lie down on the floor, and she holds my hands. And for a minute, I think I might want to pull my hand away, but her hand is nice and warm, and it feels soft. And I breathe in slowly through my nose, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then out through my mouth, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shall we do it together? She breathes slowly over and over again, and then he closes his eyes, and his tummy calms down, and he feels quiet in his body. So I won't tell you the rest of the story, read the rest of the story, but I will tell you something funny. You want to hear something funny? He doesn't change his clothes. He goes to the park. Can you guess what happens? He gets cold. That's right. And so they have to leave early. But, you know, he made his own decisions. And that's kind of the point of the story is he got listened to when he was feeling angry and frustrated and stressed and maybe needs to make better choices next time, right? So, does anyone listen to you when you feel angry? No? All right. Yeah, I'd say mom's right there. Are you sure you want to revise that answer? No. Does anybody comfort you or listen to you when you feel sad? Yeah. Does anybody listen when you're happy? Yeah. Well, that's what we are all about, is trying to listen to each other when we're feeling different things. You know, in just a few minutes, we're going to light these candles up here. And sometimes people light candles and they feel really, really happy because they're celebrating something. And sometimes they feel really, really sad. And we work really hard to listen. So I encourage you to find those people in your life, if you don't have anybody, that will listen when you feel sad, and listen when you feel angry, and listen when you feel happy, but also learn to do that for other people. So do this right here. Everybody can do that? Say, I want to be a good listener. And thank you for coming down, and thank you for meeting Geo. You can see that we're raising you children, right? Does anyone listen to you? No. That sounds just like adult conversations I have out there. So it fits perfectly. As I just shared with our young folks, we do light candles in this community, which is an opportunity for us to share those things that are making us feel sad, making us hurt, making us angry, but also to have a space where we can light candles that we're celebrating our happiness, our joy, our accomplishments. So we always have candles in the foyer for those who want to light one, and this is an opportunity for you to light a candle and briefly share your joy or concern, and then place your candle here. I'm going to start our candle lighting today by just sharing the death of one of our church members. Cheryl Soule has died, and we received word from her son Aaron and daughter-in-law Tracy. Cheryl hasn't been as actively involved, especially since COVID, and has health reasons, but she was a pillar in this church and an activist in the community. We are going to have, and I've been talking to her son and daughter-in-law about planning a memorial service for Cheryl here in the fall. But today, we light a candle celebrating her life and holding her family close in our hearts. If you have a candle, please come and share it.
Have a little bit of concern, a lot of joy, mainly. So concern, just school is starting back. So we saw our kids big. So I'll start with, for all the teachers that are starting this school year. Teachers in my district start back tomorrow. We had a lot of teachers started in local districts back last week. Kids are starting back in a week in our district. But I really came up here mostly to celebrate kids. Our middle school youth last night had a blast making sandwiches for the fundraiser after church. And it's just exciting to see our youth program starting back for the year. So that, and then the last one is just, my daughter assures me that she likes attention, so her 14th birthday is tomorrow. If you see her, wish Louise a happy birthday.
I'm gonna cut and share the joy that tomorrow also my son Lyndon turns 2, and Reverend Stephen and Michelle's daughter Luna turns 5. A trio of birthdays.
I'm Kevin, and this is a candle of kind of mixed emotions. My wife Connie is far away today at Lumpkin, Georgia, volunteering at El Refugio, the refugee hospitality center that serves loved ones visiting detainees at the Lumpkin Immigration Detention Center. I am proud that she's doing that work. I'm grateful that she's doing that work with old friends of ours. That's kind of a vicarious joy that I feel. And I'm so sorry that their workload has grown so heavy due to federal government policy changes that I need not elaborate on here. They used to do a weekend with 3 volunteers, and currently they're doing with 5. Connie used to go quarterly since we moved here, and it's farther. And yeah, it's been like 2 months since the last time. So, and I'm looking forward, I'm looking forward to her return back home tomorrow. So, a lot of mixed feelings.
Good morning. I'm Sylvia Brown. And my concern is for my son, Bruce, and his family. Bruce started kidney dialysis on Friday. So I was in Savannah for most of the weekend, but just seeing the stress and the strain that him and his family is going through, and me too, so I ask for prayers. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Regina. I'm trying to do the counting that Reverend Stephen just talked about to calm oneself. I look around, I've been here for a long time, every different moves to different buildings and so forth, but I have been part of this congregation a long time. And today, you know, my heart is really heavy with the knowledge that Cheryl Soule died, and not unexpectedly, but unexpectedly. So that's heavy on my mind. I'm sure all these things will be remembered. You might not have ever known her, but this congregation, I would say, is a welcoming congregation, a lot to do with Cheryl's work early on with UUA and with this congregation. So that's something I'm happy to relate to you if you weren't aware of that. The other thing is Cheryl had I don't know, when she divorced from her first marriage, and well, her only marriage, but anyway, when I knew her for so many years, she was so devoted to her former, or her ex-mother-in-law. I mean, I don't like to say ex-mother-in-law, she was her mother-in-law. But Cheryl had a relationship with this older woman that was just profoundly impactful to me, to watch that over the years. Okay, that's my grief about Cheryl. Not really, but that's part of my grief about Cheryl. Today is my big sister's birthday, so she's one day ahead of a lot of people that I care about, of all ages. One of them is turning 2. One of them is turning, I can't even remember how my grandson is turning, but tomorrow's his birthday. I think it's like 29, but I need to check on when I wrote it down yesterday. So lots of birthdays, and I'm remembering my sister's birthday because she's 4 years older than I am. Well, I shouldn't even say that, doggone it. Didn't mean to say that, but she's been visiting this church over many, many years, coming from Georgia to celebrate different things in my life. But today is a big birthday. But what I'm remembering, of course, is my big sister in all those years, and that she was and will be my big sister forever. She tells the story, and I'm sure when I talk to her again today, she'll tell me the story. She'll say, you know, mom and dad brought you home from Emory University Hospital. They were living in Rome, Georgia. He was a minister at the church there, and they rushed into Atlanta where I could be born, I guess, in an uptown place. And but they brought me home to Rome, Georgia, and she says, we didn't have I don't remember the car brand, but it was a car, and then there was no car seat, and so they borrowed a baby crib from the funeral home in Rome, Georgia. She always puts that in there, and I haven't quite figured out why, but I came home in this funeral borrowed basket, and she says, my first words, when I saw you the first time, I looked over at you in the crib, and I said, hello, baby. And so that's my joy. I mean, I was the baby, and she said, she welcomed me. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Elisa, and this is a candle of concern. I called my Mimi a couple days ago, and you know, I used to live with my grandparents, and my grandma Mary, she always had health issues. We were always in and out of the hospital for her, and apparently she flatlined a while ago. She's okay now, but she has a ton of tumors and infections in her body. Most of them that have been screened aren't cancerous, but they haven't screened all of them. She got most of her thyroid taken out, and so She also has a bunch of heart problems, but that's not new, but she's probably gonna have to get a heart surgery. So I appreciate it if you pray, if you don't pray. Just keep Mimi and Mary in your thoughts, your prayers, because it's been tough.
The last candle that we light represents our joys and concerns that we're, oh, okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I wasn't alive, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was just sitting. I came here last week, and since then, a couple of people in our congregation have accepted me into their lives. I've been homeless for a little bit, and they gave me a place to stay. They also connected me with somebody else to stay with. A lot of you just like slipped me $10 or $15 or whatever last week, and I can't tell you what a blessing that is, because it's almost impossible to actually like have a job when you can't do laundry and you can't bathe yourself. It's almost impossible. And so like I want more than anything to have a job. If anybody wants to hire me, do it. I will mow your grass or whatever, especially because it's cooler now. But I just want to thank Bud and Chuck and PK and just thank them for letting me sleep at night when I feel like I have a safe roof over my head. And I haven't had that in, it was the end of May, so it's not that long, but just having a safe roof over my head and being able to actually sleep. And that means a lot to me. So, because without sleep, you can't really function. You can't really do anything. So anyway, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for taking me into your house. You guys want to stand up? But yeah, and everybody, like, thank you. It means a lot. Thanks. It's quite a blessing.
The last candle that we light represents those.
Also, Tchaikovsky.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Back to my childhood.
Keep coming. The blessings really come from that side of the room, not up here so much. The last candle that we light represents our joys and concerns that we're holding silent today. I invite you to just take a moment and remember all that's been shared this morning. As we prepare for this month of Share the Plate, a reminder that our Share the Plate recipient throughout the month of August is the Palmetto Place Children and Youth Services. And it's my pleasure to invite Heather Turner, who is the interim executive director, to come and share a little bit about that work.
Not that tall. I'm going to adjust this. Short people problems. Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you all so much for allowing me the opportunity to speak and share with you a little bit about Palmetto Place. My name is Heather Turner. I'm currently serving as our interim executive director for the next couple of weeks before our new one starts. And then I'll transition back over to our HR operations manager. For those that don't know, Palmetto Place was founded in 1977 by the Junior Women's Club of Columbia. Its sole mission has been to provide a safe and supportive safe haven for children and youth who've experienced abuse, neglect, abandonment, and/or homelessness. So for nearly 50 years, we've provided services for over 8,500 youth, making sure that they have that safe and secure and community to help them in their needs. So we currently have 2 residential programs. One serves 15 to 20-year-olds, the other serves 18 to 21-year-olds. And we provide them with the skills and the resources that they need to work towards their independence, to be successful. Anything from life skills of how to do laundry, how to cook a meal, how to read a recipe, how to budget, so financial literacy to help prepare them for their future. Educational support, we want to make sure all of our youth are graduating either with a high school diploma or at least a GED, as well as career readiness, so making sure they know how to get a job, how to apply, how to maintain that job, how to work through any type of conflicts on that job, all of that fun stuff. And then everything in between, from hygiene to food nutrition, how to properly dress, how to take the public system, how to save, all of those things. So we aim to really help support them in their needs and their resources while they're with us to make sure that they are set up for success for their next steps. So for this morning, I wanted to share a quick short story about one of our youth, one of the most resilient youth that I've met. I've met many in my time with Palmetto Place, but this one specifically has really touched my heart. So just for confidentiality purposes, we're gonna call her Sarah. So Sarah came to us last year in May of 2024 at the end of her junior year of high school. She was referred to us by her school social worker. Her dad's been incarcerated for many years. Her mom has some both health and substance abuse issues, and so it just was no longer safe for her to be in her mom's home. She moved in with her sister. Her sister got a new boyfriend, and that became an unsafe situation due to the boyfriend and the sister working all the time, so she got referred to us and found her way to us. When she came into us last May, despite the challenges and situations that she's been going through, she's actually maintained really good grades. She was working, trying to save. We found out her goals were to graduate on time from high school, and she wanted to go to college, go to nursing school specifically, and fulfill her dream of becoming a nurse and helping other people. So when she came to us, our focus was making sure that she stays in school, making sure she has that transportation. She was struggling in a few classes, so we were able to connect her and set her up with some tutoring to help her get caught up so she maintained those grades and maintained her schooling. So I was real excited to share that she did actually graduate on time this past May. She finished with a 3.0 GPA despite all the stuff that she had been dealing with over the past year. And I won't go into all the specifics, but even throughout the time with us, she was having ongoing issues and struggles between her sister and her mom still. And just a lot of situations that were putting her in a negative place, and she spiraled a couple of times, and we had to help kind of build her back up and keep her on track. So she graduated. She also maintained working that entire time. So she just recently was able to save up enough money to get her first apartment. So she just transitioned out it's now August, so earlier in July, transitioned out of Palmetto Place. She is now working. She has her own place, so she's thriving. Her next goals that she is working on is to start saving so she can get a car, and then she's gonna switch that focus to then starting to focus on school. She still wants to fulfill that dream of going to nursing school, becoming a nurse, so she can continue to help people. Sarah is one that has struggled with relationships, has struggled with trust, has struggled with things being promised to her and those promises being broken. So it was really hard when she came to us. Everything we were trying to offer to support her with, she didn't trust that we were gonna help her. Anytime we said we were gonna do something, it was like, sure you will, all right, whatever, and just didn't care. She was a very hardened person that had built up these walls that we had to work really hard to get down. And so, I got to attend their graduation ceremony. We had a big graduation party for them. And it broke my heart when she came up and just started hugging me and saying thank you. And in my mind, I was like, I don't work here on a day-to-day basis, on the boots on the ground with you all. And so I'm like, why is she thanking me? And just the few conversations and interactions and the times that I took to sit down and talk with her and see how she was doing and check in when I heard something bad happened at school or she had had a situation with her mom. And I would always purposely go and find her and be like, hey, I heard you were dealing with some stuff. Like, are you okay? Do you want to talk about it? Those meant so much to her. And I didn't realize it at the time, because to me, I'm like, I just was checking in on her. I didn't think it really meant that much. And Sarah's just one of many stories of the youth that come to us in these situations that they did not choose. And we have the opportunity to really help support them and provide them with the resources and the skills to give them the life that they deserve and to help them reach their potential. And so I could share many stories of the youth in the short 3 years that I have been with Palmetto Place that have come through our doors and have left a completely different person with more confidence in themselves, with the ability to maintain jobs, with the ability to have graduated or gotten their GED or got their driver's license that they thought they would never be able to earn. And I'm just so grateful for the church's continued support and for all organizations similar to this one that have continued to help support us in our mission of helping these youth. We are the only agency in the state of South Carolina that serves unaccompanied youth. Youth that are not a part of the juvenile justice system, youth that are not part of DSS, that are out on the streets, are couch surfing, have been kicked out of their homes, have nowhere to go, those unaccompanied youth. We are the only agency in the entire state that serve them. And so without us and without the support from you all and other agencies and similar organizations, we wouldn't be able to help these youth to become better and to be prepared for their independence. The youth are our future, and so it's up to us to really help make sure that we're setting them up for success. So I just want to thank you and leave you with that short story and just my great gratitude and appreciation for everything that you all do. And I hope you all have a blessed day. I'm going to end there.
Thank you, Heather, for sharing and sharing the beautiful story, too. And we celebrate being able to partner with you in this good work. Anna is going to introduce our offertory at this point.
Our offertory selection today is A Quiet Summer Night by Kevin Costley.
Invite our ushers to come and receive our morning offering. Receive our offering today, symbol of our commitment to our good work. Thank you, Anna, for the beautiful music today, as always. song I shared earlier was released in 1964, and keeping in line with, as Regina shared, maybe before you all were born. That was before I was born, for sure. So, just throw that out there. I don't often get to feel young, so that was nice. The Sound of Silence wasn't a huge success, selling just a couple of thousand albums at the time, and actually led to Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel taking a break as far as trying to do music. They were trying, just as others were doing at the time, of getting into folk music and an appreciation for folk music, what some people call just Unitarian Universalist music. At least we may not have invented it, but we definitely own the singing of it for sure. A producer took that song, that recording, and added some electronic instruments because it was originally just released with acoustic guitar, and re-released it really without even talking to Paul Simon, who owned the rights to the song. And I guess he didn't argue, because shortly, a few weeks after, it went to #1 on the Billboard charts and stayed there for a few weeks. And of course, the story of Simon and Garfunkel, and I can't remember some of the names that they went by before that, but you can look that up and see. Paul Simon says that he wrote that song during his college time in his bathroom, which is where he often would write music. He would go in, and it was the only quiet place they had in the dormitory. He would turn off the lights, and he would play his guitar and write, and he believed that if you turn the lights off, then he could truly just focus inward and listen to the lyrics that were coming as he played his guitar. Some people have said that maybe with the releasing of that just a few short months after the assassination of President Kennedy, that it was in response to that. Paul Simon has never connected it to that. But what he did say is that it was a song that came from him reflecting on the increased and growing deficiency in people's abilities to communicate with each other effectively. They introduced that song in a festival a few years later, and as they often introduce the song, would say this is a song about people's inability to communicate with each other. And in that particular time, they added another line and said, inability to communicate with each other, and therefore the struggle to love each other, which caught my ear as a Unitarian Universalist. Anything that stands in the way of our ability or our struggle to love each other maybe should get our attention. Living in an age where communication is what we do, right? Information is thrown at us constantly all the time in different media, different forms. There was a recent study that said 80% of people feel increased stress in their lives just from the constant information, or thinking there was maybe an app that they forgot to check. And I just created stress for you with that, right? And you're wondering what that app is. The average person consumes 8,200 words and 226 text messages daily. So you can decide if you're average or not, or above average or below. The average person consumes about 34 gigabytes of data every day, which is equivalent to a little over 100,000 words that are heard or read every day. The French philosopher said that we live in a world where there is more and more information and less meaning. The average person consumes about 34 gigabytes of data every day, which is the equivalent of about 100,000 words heard or read every day. And that was just a test to see if you were thinking, you're kind of on this spectrum right now, right? Did Stephen know he just repeated himself? So that means you're a good listener. There's the other side of it where you're going, wow, that's amazing. I've never heard that before. You've got some work to do. And maybe you're in that in-between thinking, did I just hear that somewhere? So you can figure that out. As most of you may land, you may just think, well, he's really losing it. That might be the place that you land, often in sermons. Despite this information overload, really the art of listening is declining, even more so than the world that Paul Simon was reflecting on. We talk at each other a lot. We have a lot of information coming at us at all times, and we've gotten pretty skilled at crafting our words and our message, but we are guilty as a people of talking without speaking and hearing without listening. Mark Nepo has a poem entitled Way Under the Way, where he describes a moment when two people are talking, and he says, the instant where one of us will speak and then one of us will listen as if no one has ever placed the oar in the water like that before. How often do you have that kind of experience in a conversation where you're so connected to the person and so connected to what's being shared, it feels as if the oar has never been placed in the water before? Where you're so grounded in the moment with someone and you fully listen to what is being said, not just the words, but the experience and the emotions and all that's being communicated. How often do you feel completely heard and understood by another person? This is your chance to join the story for all ages. How often does someone listen to you? Never. Do you realize how special and rare the moments are in our lives when that does happen? Where we find a space where we feel heard, where we do practice the art of listening. In his poem, he brings us to this uniqueness of each moment that we can spend in each other's company. When listening becomes an art, then we realize how unique all of those moments are. To truly be with another person, we must bring the magic of presence in our lives and then hear and respond with our whole selves, to hold each other and ourselves in that moment, to truly be with each other. And the reality comes in the words of the poem. He says, nothing compares to the sensation of being alive in the company of another person. In order to experience this, we must practice the art then of active listening. Active listening is a communication skill that goes beyond simply hearing words that another person speaks. It's about actively processing and trying to understand the meaning and intent behind those words. It requires us to be a mindful and focused participant in the communication process. You get to practice this for about 20 minutes every Sunday morning right now. And hopefully there's something worth listening to, right, as it's being shared. But, like any skill, this practice is important, and learning techniques can help you get there. And so here's a few things that you can think about if you would like to move toward becoming a more active listener. One would be to be fully present in a conversation. I often have meetings at work where I am doing something else while the meeting is taking place. Are you ever guilty of that? It's okay to confess that if you are a board member here. Especially with our meetings that have moved to virtual format, I just assume, and we created a policy too of no one is on camera. I don't know why we created that policy, but we created that policy that you don't have to be on camera. So I just assume everybody is doing something else, because I know I am doing something else while we're working on this thing. And the person can be talking and expecting that everyone is fully listening. And that is just a rare thing to get that kind of experience. But how do you be fully present in a conversation? And unfortunately, some of those techniques that are often used at work, we also bring them into our personal conversations as well, where we are distracted and we're doing something else that gets in the way of us being fully present with another person, as Nepo says, as if no one, as the oar has never been placed in the water like that before. I think the art of being fully present with another person begins with the art of being fully present with yourself, which we also struggle with as well. We can't always eliminate the distractions. We have to learn how to put those distractions aside. I was at a silent retreat once in Conyers, Georgia, at a monastery, and the leader of the retreat said the biggest challenge, if you haven't practiced the art of silence or meditation, the biggest challenge may be trying to quiet your own mind while you're doing the art of meditation and silence. And the image that she gave us during that retreat was sometimes quieting your mind is like trying to have silent meditation while a toddler is sitting on the seat beside you. And the distractions are constantly coming, and the attention is moving there, and our brain is constantly moving us in that direction. And we will never experience life where the distractions are not there. But we do have to learn how to manage those distractions when they come. And so, not only to be present with ourselves, but how do we manage those distractions when we're sitting and talking to someone else and listening to what's being shared and not letting our minds venture off to something else? How do we allow ourselves to be fully present in the moment? I really believe that we have to recognize those distractions when they come and refocus. If you give yourself the pressure to say, I'm going to be fully present in every conversation, you are setting the bar so high that you will fail and you'll just go, well, I didn't do well at that. Listening's not my thing. But if you can practice the art of getting distracted and refocusing, the work then becomes moving toward a more full presence with that other person. Another technique is learning those nonverbal cues, the ones that you give and the ones that you observe, recognizing that your eye contact is very important. And being able to look at someone in the eye when they speak and experience them looking you in the eye as they speak. I will say this is quite uncomfortable in our culture, right? How long can we connect with someone with eye contact? It is very difficult, but if you can do that work, we are not used to being that vulnerable and that seen and that known. But paying attention to what you see as well and speaking to what you see. Stephen Graham, an actor from the UK, says that he, in developing a show, if you haven't seen Adolescence on Netflix, which is a tremendous show, that speaks to what adolescence in our particular age is dealing with. Anyone seen the show on Netflix? Stephen Graham, in saying developing that show for adolescents, believed in his heart that we can communicate this experience without saying all the words that we need to say. And his technique that he had practiced with another film, another TV project, was to just let the camera go and never pause it and never edit it. So it was just continuously following the scenes. And if you watch that and you wonder why that show feels different, that's why it feels different. It was just a pure streaming of the experience. And half of what is communicated, at least half of what is communicated, he says, he believed is communicated through eyes and faces, facial expressions. We can learn so much just by paying attention to what we see if we're fully present in the moment. Another technique of active listening is to reflect back what you hear instead of always asking questions. You saw that in the book about Geo. The mom says, it sounds like you're frustrated. I remember a comic once that I saw in the paper in the New Yorker where a person sitting in a client was sitting in a therapist's office and was just blasting all of this anger of all these things that were wrong in the world and all the things that are wrong with their life. And the therapist said, it sounds like you're angry. Like, yes, no kidding, I am angry. So maybe it's not always just giving back that response like that, but how can you take a risk and say, it sounds like you're frustrated, it sounds like you're sad. I'm hearing sadness. I'm hearing something that, and feeling something in this moment as well. To risk being wrong. You may say, seems like you're sad, and the person says, no, I'm not sad at all. Well, at least you're paying attention and listening and doing the work. Another technique is to be patient. Now, I don't have a whole lot of time to spend on this. Good. Y'all get the corny jokes that my kids would say are corny. This is a struggle. We do have to work on patience because instant gratification is key in our culture. And I remember a quote. I just thought of this quote about instant gratification. I can't think of it right now, but give me just a second and I'll look it up because I won't be able to focus on anything else until... That is my guilty thing, right? I am used to having information readily available to me at all times. And by the way, as I tell my kids all the time, it's not trustworthy information. Just because I Google it and someone says this is the answer to that question doesn't mean you should just share that with everyone. But I do share it with my kids so that I look smarter than them. But man, that is the challenge right now of how can I delay something that I think I really need right now in this moment. Patience in our culture is very difficult. But patience with ourselves and patience with the situation is key to being present in the moment. How to be patient and listen to someone that is trying your patience with the way they are sharing their story. And you may add, well, Stephen, you need to add a technique of being concise when you share something, right? If you want me to practice patience, be concise with your story. That's not really on here. I'm just adding that as a sideline. But how to be patient in those moments and learn the triggers that trigger impatience for us. And think about how we can move around that and center ourselves to be more patient. Imagine, often when I'm listening to a story, I have to remind myself, and I hate to do this because a lot of times I'm talking to you all, right? And you're sharing stories. And so don't think that I'm like thinking this about you. This is totally other people. No one here at the UUCC. But when I feel myself getting impatient, I say to myself, really, Stephen, what else do you need to be doing right now? What is more important than this person that's across from you feeling heard right now? Is there anything more important? And I think about like 12 things that are more important. And I work through that and realize, nope, this is the important thing in this moment right now, to be listened to be heard, to be understood. And the last technique that I will share about active listening, I think, is key, and that is the goal of listening. The goal of listening being to understand and not respond. That is tough because we are an argumentative culture that wants to debate, or at least we want to contribute to the conversation. And at the same time, we're all carrying around our unmet needs of not feeling heard ourselves. But how can we ground ourselves in moments instead of thinking about how am I going to respond to this or how am I going to somehow contribute to this conversation? How can I understand what this person is saying? If we ground ourselves in that space, it will transform your ability to listen. If you just start with that goal of I'm going to listen to understand, I really think it would change our lives, and I believe it would change our culture, our political landscape, everything about our world around us, to listen with understanding instead of a need to respond. Why do this here at our church? Why even take a Sunday and talk about it? Because it's core to our spiritual practice. Not just the exercises of communication, but we value the inherent worth and dignity of every person, meaning that every person deserves to be heard, every person deserves to be understood. We also believe that there's no one path, person or spiritual path that has all the answers, and therefore we must have to learn from each other. Truth is in relationship. Truth is in dialogue. We are a place where every voice is valued, and therefore we have to make this a space here at the UUCC where every voice is heard. This is how we live out our faith. Art Garfunkel added, "The struggle to love each other is when we don't listen to each other." So may the UUCC be a place where the art of listening is on display. May this space here be a gallery of our ears and our hearts and our minds, and may we experience the reality of Mark Nepo's words that nothing compares to the sensation of being alive in the company of another.
Our closing hymn is in the Teal Hymnal, number 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. Please rise in body or spirit to join in singing.
I invite you to be seated for just a moment before we move to our benediction, mainly because I'd love to share the whole poem as our closing words, The Way Under the Way by Mark Nepo, and then we have an announcement too. The Way Under the Way by Mark Nepo. For all that has been written, for all that has been read, we are led to this instant where one of us will speak and one of us will listen, as if no one has ever placed an oar into that water. It doesn't matter how we come to this, we may jump to it or be warned to it because of great pain or a sudden raw feeling that it's all very real. It may happen in a parking lot when we break the eggs in the rain or we're watching each other in our grief. But here we will come with very little left in the way. When we meet like this, I may not have the words, so let me say it to you now. Nothing compares to the sensation of being alive in the company of another. It is God breathing on the embers of our soul. Stripped of causes and plans and things to strive for, I have discovered everything I could need or ask for is right here in flawed abundance. We cannot eliminate each hunger, but we can feed each other. We cannot eliminate loneliness, but we can hold each other. We cannot eliminate pain, but we can live a life of compassion. Ultimately, we are small living things awakened in the stream, not gods who carved out the rivers. Like human fish, we are asked to experience meaning in the life that moves through the gills of our heart. There is nothing to do and nowhere to go, and accepting this, we can do everything and go anywhere.
Please rise and join in singing our congregational benediction.
Okay, listen to me now. Now that you've had the service, you can listen. You're all invited to join us for a salad and sandwich lunch. This is a fundraiser, and it's sponsored by UUCC by our Mountain Committee. If you wonder what the mountain is, they can tell you, and I think they have a slideshow, et cetera, back there. The suggested minimum donation is $15 per adult, but they appreciate more to support the good work. By the way, if you smell something really good, it's from Chef Emilio, who is making paella. So don't forget to try that. Thank you.
Thank you, and we look forward to everyone joining us at the table for our lunch. Thank you for being here for our service today.